Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. Today is Sunday, 28th of February, 2016. Start with our prayer. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nama Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are into chapter 2. Today we are going to take Sloka number 54. First we'll chant the shloka, then we'll discuss. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Sthita Pragyasya Bhaka Bhasha.
Sthita Pragyasya
Samadhistasya Keshava.
Samadhistasya Keshava.
Sthitadhi Kim Prabhasheta.
Sthitadhi Kim Prabhasheta.
Kimasita Vrajet Kim.
Kimasita Vrajet Kim.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Sthita Pragyasya Ka Bhasha. Samadhistasya Keshava. Sthitadhi Kim Prabhasheta. Kimasita Vrajet Kim. Prema Ordine Mataji.
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha.
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
समाधिस्थस्य केशव
समाधिस्थस्य केशव
स्थिति किं प्रभाषेत
स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत
किमासीत प्रजेत किं
किमासीत प्रजेत किम् कौस्तु प्रभु
Arjuna uvacha
अर्जुन उवाच
stite prajnasya ka vasha
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
samadhis sasya keshava
समाधिस्थस्य केशव
stita di kim prabhosteta kim
तदि किं प्रभाषेत
ashita rajeta kim.
किमासीत व्रजेत किम् कमलिनी माता जी
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण
अर्जुन उवाच
अर्जुन उवाच
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा
समाधिस्तस्य केशव
समाधिस्थस्य केशव
स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत
तदि किं प्रभाषेत
किमासीत व्रजेत किम्।
किमासीत व्रजेत किम् Anybody else is there?
I don't think anybody else is there, Prabhuji.
What the word meaning? Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna said.
Arjuna said.
Sthita pragyasya.
Sthit pragyasya.
Of one who is situated in fixed Krishna consciousness.
Of one who is
Situated in fixed Krishna consciousness.
Ka.
Ka.
What?
What?
Bhasha.
Bhasha.
Language.
Language.
Samadhisthasya.
Samadhisthasya.
Of one situated in trance.
Of one situated in trance.
Keshava.
Keshava.
O Krishna.
O Krishna.
Sthitadhi.
Sthitadhi.
One fixed in Krishna consciousness.
One fixed in Krishna consciousness.
Kim.
Kim.
What?
What?
Prabhasheta.
Prabhasheta.
Speaks.
Speaks.
Kim.
Kim.
How?
How?
Asita.
Asita.
Does remain still.
Does remain still.
Vrajeta.
Vrajeta.
Walks.
Walks.
Kim.
Kim.
How?
How?
Translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Arjuna said,
Arjuna said,
O Krishna,
O Krishna,
what are the symptoms of one
what are the symptoms of one
whose consciousness is thus merged
whose consciousness is merged
in transcendence?
in transcendence?
How does he speak?
How does he speak?
How does he?
And what is his language?
And what is his language?
How does he sit?
How does he sit?
And how does it walk?
And how does he walk?
So here, so far Krishna was explaining about acting in Krishna consciousness, in equanimity, without getting attached to the results. So, a very valid question from Arjuna. This is actually one of the questions we should be asking. When we say so-and-so is a devotee, a pure devotee, then immediately we should ask these questions. What are the symptoms of a pure devotee? How does he walk, talk, sit. What is his language? When we say language, we mean not the, flowery or Shakespearean language, that's okay. But what we mean is how he speaks, how he addresses others, what are his manners, what are his, how he treats everybody else, how he speaks when he is in trouble, materially maybe, or some situation arises, how does he handle? So these are all very, very valid questions, because unless we ask these questions, we will not know about the person. And just by hearing one or two lectures, we cannot decide about a person. Oh, he talks very nice. But then, is he sarcastic? Has he got full faith in Krishna or Krishna consciousness? All these questions are very important. Walk and talk, walk and sit and all, that's okay. That just to show that, we are trying to know the person in full, complete. So Arjuna is asking this question, what are the symptoms? How do we find out that such one? Sthita pragya. Pragya means your consciousness. And sthita means very steady. Of course, somebody can be sthita pragya in opposite direction also. He has decided that there is no Krishna. He's decided that there is no such thing like God. And he's very fixed in that, But generally people are not. When the the trouble with the atheists is that they cannot stop talking about God. Many times, in our restaurant, somebody used to come and he would pose himself as that. And then my simple question to him was always, like, okay, if you have nothing to do with God, then why discussing? Just leave him alone, poor fellow. He has not done any harm to you. So why you want to blaspheme him? Why you want to say something bad about him? Just leave him alone. But like, a thief may be not very much attracted to a sadhu. Of course, the thief's fear is that, and that is the fear of many, in the material world also. I've seen that they don't want to come to Krishna consciousness because they're scared. They are scared that they will get transformed and then they will be deprived of all the nonsense that they're enjoying. So it's the fear of losing. Losing what? Some nonsense. Like when Krishna says, scripture says Krishna is Harati Hari. He fetches away, he takes away. Takes away what? He takes away all your ego, greed, lust, everything. He does, but people don't talk of that. They talk of, he takes away your money, he takes your material possessions, and so on and so forth. So very, very valid question, and Krishna is going to answer that in few shlokas. Not, one is not enough. He is going to explain, because there are so many questions in one question. There are so many questions. So let's see what acharyas have to say on this. Premavardhini Mataji.
Hearing about intelligence fixed in samadhi, samadha achalati, Arjuna asks about the characteristics of that yogi, sthiti pragya in his in this verse has the same meaning as achal buddhi in the previous work, fixed intelligence.
In the previous verse, we saw that samadha achala buddhi. Achala means unshakable. Buddhi is intelligence. So, if you see now, one very nice clue we get from this is that if you want to progress in Krishna consciousness, then we must be steady. We may be fixed. If you waver, like one day we like Krishna consciousness, the next day will be like something else, the next day we like something else, that's no good. So the first requirement is a drida nishchaya, fixed determination that yes, I want to progress. Yes, I want to learn the right way. Of course, then you have to choose the right way. The processes are explained already. How do you ask? How do you gain knowledge? But the first requirement is that you should be fixed. Why we say that? Because in the process you may get some difficulties, some material difficulties, some tests may be taken by Krishna or something like that. So we should become fixed. And that's why the example is given in the beginning. Our faith and our conviction is everything is very komal, very brittle, very subtle, it's like not solid. And that's why the chances of our not coming into Krishna consciousness are more in the beginning. Beginning period is really, really challenging. Of course, sometimes beginning period is very easy because you'll start liking things, and then the real test comes when something starts happening. Like Prabhupada gave the example of a small child learning to walk. The father is holding all his hands, or he gets a walker or support or something like that. And so he slowly develops confidence in that, it starts liking it. Oh, come on, I need not worry because there is something to support. And then when, after some time, like the father gives up the hand and he says, wants the child to walk on his own. But he's still at the back, the child, as long as the child is confident that yes, my father is at my back, he takes some risks also, He'll take 2 steps at a time, or he'll start jumping or something like that, because he knows that somebody is there. So same way, but if you're not confident, then you may not take the step because you may be scared, oh, I may fall down or something. Like I remember when you make a child stand on a chair and you are there and you ask him to jump. You watch, that not all children jump. Some are so scared they will never jump, they'll just, some have seen they will sit on the chair and then climb down, Or they'll call their mom, father or somebody to support them. The exactly same happens to us when we are trying to progress in Krishna consciousness. And that's where we got Guru, we got our Guru Bhais, Guru Sisters, other devotees, senior Vaishnavas, your own peer group. Everybody is there. And that's why we talk of association. Association is not to make an association to fight against somebody, on some silly issue. Or even some important issue, but fight in the wrong way. That's not association. Generally, the material word association means that only, like you form a group and then you fight against the government, against other group, like that. Some are for good cause, some are not for so good cause, but they're there. So this is what it means here. Kaustuv Prabhu.
Turn that off.
Hare Bol.
What are the qualities of the person situated in samadhi? Samadhi sta. Actually, the terms stita praja and samadhi sta both refer to the jivan mukta. What will that person say in the face of happiness and distress, respect and disrespect, praise and condemnation? Kim prabhaseta. What will he say, either loudly or to himself? In what way will his senses remain unresponsive to the external objects? Kim asita. In what way will his senses respond to the objects? Vrajeta kim.
So the verse is explained here in a part by part, so we understand exactly what does it mean. So samadhistha, samadhi means trance, totally focused. So no movement, that's why in samadhi you can't have samadhi when a lot of movements are there. But of course, in Krishna consciousness, you can go into a trance even while dancing, or even while, I give this example many times, even while taking darshan of the deities, or even having a nice rasagolla or gulab jam, and going into trance, the nectar of that prasadam. So the point is that, and here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that both of these refer to Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta means liberated soul. For the liberated soul, Sthita Pragya and Samadhi are same. It's not non-different. It's not that, oh, you are in a steady consciousness, but you are not in trance. No. Then you are not in steady consciousness if you are not in trance. And then he gives these examples of, happiness and distress. This is Krishna's favorite. He always talks about this in many places in Bhagavad Gita. Because these are the practical things. This is what we see in the life. We are happy when somebody praises. We are not so happy when somebody condemns. Especially when it comes to our Guru Maharaj, spiritual master, I always recommend that we must always have this praise and condemnation, because Guru is heavy. He's there to chastise us and, reprimand us and so on. So in those situations, we should not give up the Guru, or we should not think, oh, this Guru is no good because he's condemning me. Even though you are not at a fault, but Guru will, first of all, he will never do it to you when you are not in fault. So if there is something coming from that side, then you should start looking back and say, hey, what did I do? I must have done something wrong. And of course, respect, disrespect, big subject matter. Nobody likes disrespect. But then that's how you should be. And then we have seen so many examples of sadhus being disrespected, but they are absolutely not disturbed. Jada Bharata, classic example. Happiness and distress, Sudama. I'm giving you the idealistic situation. And then he says, it's not that only aloud you say, what you say within also is important, isn't it? Because sometimes out of fear you may not say something, but in your heart you are saying. And that's what is forgiven in Kali Yuga. You say something bad about somebody in your heart, you don't get punished very severely. But if you say it aloud, then definitely you get, right? So all these symptoms already here. So it becomes more interesting to watch and see what Krishna has to say about this. Kamalini Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, what is the speech of a man of firm wisdom who is abiding with the mind controlled? What words can describe his state? What is his nature? This is the meaning of how does a man of firm wisdom speak, etc. His specific conduct is now described as his nature can be inferred therefrom.
See, just by observing these things, Sometimes, I mean, you still can't know fully, but in normal circumstances, we should be able to judge by these symptoms. And then again, you must be expert in that, because sometimes we can be deceived, that a lot of people who will pose themselves as having these qualities, and then they may show externally also, but then, like there is one person, he conducts a Sundar Kand of Ramayana. And sometimes he get big crowds, sometimes he goes to homes and they read this and then he gives a class. And then one person who is a devotee, but few of them I know, they used to go to this place also. So they invited me also. And out of courtesy, and I also, more than courtesy, I wanted to see what this person does, that these people are attracted to him. Because I also want to learn from others, That's very useful in your preaching. So I attended 1 or 2 programs, and these people used to say, Prabhuji, he cries when he's telling a story, he cries, you can see the tears flowing. He's so much in love with Krishna and Ram. So I wanted to watch. Because I try my best to do that, but I never get that. So I said, let me see what's going on. So this person, is telling about Kaushalya and Ram, and suddenly, Kaushalya is missing Ram, and so he goes into the deep thought. And, he really weeps, cries. And his voice starts faltering. And, you can see one tear coming out of his corner of his eyes. And everybody there is affected, The ladies immediately, hold their saris to their eyes and, tears flowing. Somebody is, almost like. So I say, oh, this man is like this. And the very next moment, suddenly as I noticed that, because tears cannot stop like a break, And he so expertly stopped. And in the very next sentence, he is denying that Sri Ram is a God. Ram is the Supreme Personality of God. He's just making him look like, some ordinary person with the emotions, and, the way he portrayed was not speaking of Ram. And then, of course, later on, when I heard a couple of them, and I said, oh my God, this man is bogus. And I told my close friends there, I said, please don't get carried away. Okay, you may go through these programs and all, but I know you go there to sing some bhajans because you get a chance to sing. That's okay. But don't get swayed by this person. He is not a devotee. He is not a devotee. He is blaspheming. Can't you find out such simple thing? So this is the example I'm talking about. We have to be very, very careful. That's why it is safer to go into parampara, disciplic succession, finish. Find out everything, and then if it is there, then of course still keep a watch. Not that you blindly start going. As long as he is speaking the same words that his guru has spoken, we are okay. Kaustubh Prabhu.
Desiring to know the characteristics of one who is self-realized in transcendental consciousness, referred to in the previous verse, Arjuna asks, what is the definition of a person whose spiritual intelligence by nature resides in transcendence and is steady in wisdom? That by which something is described is definable and has characteristics. Due to possessing what characteristics is one called a person of steady wisdom, and how does such a person of steady wisdom conduct themselves? This is the meaning which is meant to be conveyed here.
Exactly the same thing. in a little different way because spoken by a different acharya. But all these acharyas are in the disciplic succession. They're all in the parampara. Sampradaya. So you can see here, he is saying, what I got from here is something definable and has characteristics. It's not something vague, Why we need this? Because then we can, we have to follow somebody, right? So you follow the right example. For that, this is given. So Arjuna wants to know, okay, whom to follow. Please tell me that symptom so then I can pick up that person and I can start following. Of course, Arjuna was super lucky because he had Krishna himself available. So characteristics are very, very important. Prabhupada used to say that you should judge a person not while he is sitting on the asana. You should judge him while he is not sitting on the asana, how he is behaving otherwise. Like sometimes they'll be very, very serious and then immediately after, they are joking. Joking is all right. Fun is desirable, but in a very crude manner or on some very materialistic subject, like politics or... I've seen that. Even in our sampradaya also I've seen some people do that, and I don't stop at that, I just go and talk, So later on I went and said, Maharaj, why you have to bring that topic there, because it doesn't, no, this is happening, you know that? I said, yes, Maharaj, whatever is happening, but you are a sadhu, you, of course he was not a very senior sadhu, so I had gathered some courage, generally we can't speak to them like that, but because it was conveying a wrong message about the sadhu, that people will say, oh, you invited this sadhu and he's talking politics like everybody else, like us, and he's using some profanity. That's very dangerous. That's very, very dangerous, that's why, sometimes when we are disturbed, still we are not to lose the control of our language or our behavior or something. That is what is said as fixed. It's not that, morning you are a sadhu, in the evening you are a devil. No, not like that. You have to be a fixed. And that's what exactly Arjuna is wanting to know. Premavardhini Mataji.
When the mind becomes fixed, remaining steadfast, then equanimity will arise. One with spiritual knowledge in transcendental meditation realizes the ultimate truth, perceiving God within. Understanding this fully, Arjuna, desirous of knowing the characteristics of such a being, such as the way they talk, walk, sit, etc., requests Lord Krishna to reveal to him what are the signs of one stable in transcendence.
So here we see that Arjuna wanted to know this, and whom does he approach? He doesn't go to somebody, just asking, come on, Krishna told me this, and now, I want to confirm that. So please tell me. He's asking directly Krishna because Krishna is available. So like we have Krishna's representative available, we can ask them. Because it's always good to ask when we are in doubt, or you want to not even in doubt, we want to confirm it and get really into it. Then it's better to ask. And that's the process. That's the whole process. Kamlini Mataji.
How was this state achieved? In the world, how does such a one speak and act? How does such a one move about? Arjuna asked this question because these things must be different for one situated in nascence. To remove the doubt that qualities such as these by one of tranquil mind, such as Brahma, are extremely powerful, such as Shiva, in addressing Lord Krishna, the vocative Keshava is used by Arjuna. What is this? The creator and controller of both Brahma and Shiva is Lord Krishna, who imparts spiritual knowledge to them.
1 minute, please read the next one also.
Thus, Lord Krishna must be accepted as the sole refuge of all creation because he is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. This is substantiated in the Vedic scriptures. He who creates Brahma and sends the eternal Vedas to him, he, the effulgent and illuminating light of the soul and the mind, should be supplicated to in full surrender for those desiring liberation from the material existence.
And one more.
From the forehead of he who was meditating on his inner self, Shiva of the trident was produced. In the Smriti, it is said that Ka is the name of Brahma and Shiva is Isha, the controller of all the embodied souls in material bodies. Both Brahma and Shiva are manifested from Lord Krishna. Thus, Arjuna has called him by the name Keshava.
So this is a new revelation. Generally, when we say Keshava, we say the one who killed the demon Keshi, right? But here, this is from the Kumara Sampradaya. He comes out with wonderful realization that Arjuna, see, when every time Arjuna calls Krishna by some name, there is a deep meaning of that, why he chose that name. So here he is establishing that Krishna is Keshava, from whom Ka and Shiva, Isha. And then it's all explanations are here. So the idea is that, again, there is nobody other than Krishna who can explain this perfectly. Nobody, because everybody else will have some deficiency while answering. And that's why when we speak to somebody, we speak on the strength of Krishna. We do not speak on the strength of our own knowledge. I think so. Yes, I know that. I know. We don't say that. We say, Krishna says it. And when Arjuna asked, then Krishna replied, and that answer is final for me. Because there can be nobody else who can explain this better than Krishna. That's the purport of this. And that's why it is explained like this. So, on our own, we will not know how to find this. And that's why this guidance is given to us. That because our Guru or his representative will be speaking the same thing that Krishna spoke, as it is. We are learning from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are not learning from Bhagavad Gita as told by, or as interpreted by, or as commented by. No. We are also referring to some commentaries, but they are all bona fide because of the very way of finding out whether bona fide or not. We are following that, the whole procedure, isn't it? And that's why it becomes very authentic. And that's why we are, even if we have doubts, we go back to the same source. We don't go run elsewhere. Because sometimes devotees try to do that and they have been caught in, caught in the sense, they get into some problem because of that. Like there are, when I'm collecting these points, there are other commentaries also available, but I just avoid it because I know that that's going to confuse me. That's going to shake my faith. Because, the way they say it itself telling us that they are not accepting Krishna's supremacy. The very moment you see that, you should get away from that situation. Okay. So, this is the question of Arjuna, and Arjuna is now going to get the answers from Krishna. So, thank you very much. Stop here. If you have any questions, comments, we can take it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Nice class. Lot of explanations you have given us for us to understand actually what it means, what is given in the verse. So this disciplic succession is very, very important, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Because, in India on the TVs, you get so many programs. People giving their own thoughts, their own examples. My Prabhuji keeps listening to some of them. He says, come, listen. I tell him, no, I don't want to listen to any of those things. Because you are not exposed to Krishna consciousness as much as I am. You feel that is good. But once you come to Krishna consciousness, then there is no need of listening to any of those things.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's very, very important. We shouldn't be listening. Nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Simple little thing that I caught out of it was just that it's how it's important to ask questions.
Yes.
Like I mean, Arjuna would obviously be a very intelligent man, but he's still taking the time to ask all these questions and stuff, just to make sure, you know what I mean? And I really enjoy that because it is important to ask questions. But so it was just
our Vedic teachings. The very first thing they say, like Bhagavatam and others, let there be question, let there be inquiry. So this is why I also like it, because they're not stopping you from asking questions. Otherwise, somewhere says, no, this is the gospel, finished, done, sealed and delivered. So you cannot ask anything. Not like that. Here we can. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Let there be inquiry. What a wonderful, invitation to everybody. Come on, ask questions, and you will get the answer. Why they are saying is not that you ask the question and then when somebody asks the questions you go somewhere else. Like you don't even have a reply. No, because we know that the answer will be available because we are backed by the whole disciplic succession and then Krishna himself. So we are safe. Like Prabhupada was asked this question one time. He says, Swami, do you think you are perfect? You are answering like as if you are perfect. And Prabhupada says, no, I am not perfect. But I am telling you what the most perfect person said. And that is Krishna. So he says, I am perfect because I am speaking the same thing that Krishna speaks. Otherwise, on my own, I am not perfect. That was really very nice. Okay, thank you very much. Hopefully, we'll see you next Sunday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.